the dark of night, the stars light up the sky. We see them flying free. That's just like you and me. Everyone is lonely sometimes, but I would walk 1,000 miles to see your eyes. You are not alone, we are family. Hold me, let's escape all this reality. You are my symphony. By your side, we are unity. You are my energy, my guiding light. We are unity. We are unity. Although the rain might part, a thunder starts to roar. The lightning wakes the waves, but through it we are brave. Everyone is lonely sometimes, but I would walk 1,000 miles to see your eyes. You are not alone, we are family. Hold me, let's escape all this reality. You are my symphony. By your side, we are unity. You are my energy, my guiding light. We are unity. We are unity. We are unity. Whenever you are see, whenever you are see, whenever you are see, whenever you are see, whenever you are see. We are unity. You are my symphony. By your side. You are my energy, my guiding light. We are
This is Opero Stephen, welcoming you to yet another edition of OS e-learning platform. And today's discussion is about a simple scenario coming from the theme data and probability. Now, from this theme, I just picked two topics to form up a scenario. The two topics have the respective competencies. Competency number one is that the learner should be able to collect and represent different sources of data. The learner should apply his or her understanding of probability to solve a wider range of real-life problems. So the topics that I used are statistics, arithmetic theory, and probability. The scenarios here. A school head teacher is thinking of how we can boost the mathematics department of your school. He can either add another teacher or buy more books, or both. He has decided that he will do both if the average performance of 40 students this year is lower than that of the previous year, which was 48.5. Meaning, at some point we shall calculate the mean or the average, and we compare that average with this for previous year, that is 48.5. And if that value is lower than 48.5, we shall conclude that, or we shall give a recommendation to the teacher, advise the teacher to do both. And what is that? adding another math teacher, and buying more math books. He asked the math department to give assessment to senior 3 students, and this way the scores, we have the scores there. He also visited the library and found out that the previous candidates used the 3 books for their lessons: Longhorn, New Vision, and Baruch. From the librarian's records, it is very clear that all the candidates that did not use any book failed the subject greatly. Please take note of that and take action. Read books if you want to pass. Out of 35 candidates this year, 13 used Longhorn, 20 used Baruch, and 17 used New Vision. 8 used Longhorn and New Vision only, meaning the intersection between Longhorn and the New Vision, we shall just put 8 because the word only is there. 3 used Longhorn and Baruch. Remember, the word only is not attached to the 3 who used Longhorn and Baruch. So for that case, we shall subtract the intersection of the 3 from, the 3 sets from the 3 number of students that used Longhorn and Baruch. While 9 used Baruch and New Vision, still the word only is not here. So we shall still subtract the intersection of the 3 sets from the 9 number of students that used Baruch and New Vision, such that we get the only aspect or the only value for the intersection of Baruch and New Vision. The records show that only 2 students used all the 3 books. So the intersection of the 3 books that we've been seeking for is here already, the 2. He observed that he should replace one book type of the 3 with MK Publisher, since no student read it only. So on replacing any book, this book should be having this condition that no student read it only. And once we discover that book, we replace it with MK Publisher, or we advise the teacher to replace it with MK Publisher. Let's move to the tasks. The tasks are here. Go through them very fast. So the tasks are: 1. The item scorer wants the item taker to help the head teacher group the scores and make an informed decision on the fate of the mathematics department. After that, give a reason for the decision. The item taker is also to display these scores on a simple statistical diagram, that is either a histogram or an ogive. Part B, with a reason, help the head teacher to identify the book he should replace. So at some point we shall not have this D, so it should replace. Next, the item taker should also determine the probability that the student selected at random failed the subject. Failed. The student selected at random from the class failed. Meaning we shall get the total number, or the item taker is to get the total number of a student that failed divided by the total number of students in the class. Hint, we should make use of a class interval of 10. Now, on some occasions, you may not be given, or the item scorer may not give you the class interval. So I just used this to simplify life here. Otherwise, be ready to always attend to scenario items that do not have a hint of a class interval, whereby you need to think and develop your own class interval. Before we continue, let's first remove this highlight. We move to the next slide, where we shall give a response. So the response for Roman 1 is a frequency distribution table that show the students' grouped scores. Now the key parts of a frequency distribution table, the key parts are the classes score, tallies, frequency, cumulative frequency, mid-score, product of frequency and mid-score, class boundary. Now, for us to continue with this, let's first borrow the data here. So the data given is there. Now we need to make use of this data. The question is, which class should be taken as the starting class? This is very simple. Come to your data, check for the smallest value. The least value or the smallest value we have is 24. Now you pick a value that is just smaller than 24. That is 23, 21, 22, 20, 19, etc. Now for me I took 20. Take 20. For your case, take 19 if you want. So for me I'm taking 20 as my starting lower class value or score. Now to get the starting upper score, what you do is first identify the class interval. The class interval here is 10. So the trick is very simple. What we shall do is, to get the starting class score, I will add a value that is smaller than the class interval by 1, and that value here, for my case, the value is 9. So I keep adding 9 on the lower class score to get the upper class score. So 20 plus 9, I get 29. So I will have 20 to 29. Then I move to 30 plus 9, 39, 30 to 39. The same up to 70. Then for 70, I keep adding 9, that is 79. The reason is for us to calculate the class interval using this information. To calculate the class interval using this class score, we shall get the difference between the class or the upper class score and the lower class score. Then you add plus 1. You keep adding 1 after getting the difference. So if you get 29 minus 20, you get 9, plus 1, you get 10. 79 minus 70, you get 9, plus 1, it is 10. So that's how we shall calculate the class interval if you have the class scores already. And just in case you don't have the class interval, think within the box. And how do we do this? Think of the smallest value. Check for smallest value from the data given. Pick a starting value that is just below that smallest value. And after identifying your class interval, for example, you're taking 10, 11, 12, etc. Add a value that is smaller than or that is less than that interval by 1. You keep adding it to the starting class score. Now let's move to the class boundary. How do you get the class boundary? If you have the class score or the class mark. So on the class score, the lower class scores will give us the upper class boundary. And the trick is very simple. You keep subtracting 0.5. The reason is the data we have, the scores we have are values that are whole numbers. They are actually not decimal values. So we keep subtracting 0.5 from the lower class scores to get the lower class boundaries. Then for the upper class scores, to get the upper class boundary, we shall keep adding 0.5. Here we add 0.5, here we subtract 0.5 to get these values of the upper class boundary. So that is how we shall get. And just in case you are given, or I mean you have a class boundary, you're tasked or you want to get the class scores on the class boundaries. For the lower class boundary, we keep adding 0.5, we do the reverse, and here we subtract 0.5 to get the class scores, to get back to this. You are moving from this class boundary and you are coming to this. And the reverse is true when you're coming from the class score to the class boundary. So take note of that. Otherwise, let's continue to the tallies. How do we get the tallies? Cheng, how do you get the tallies? How do we get the tallies? Let's first clean our work for clear interpretation. The tallies are just the number of times that the values or the scores appear within a given class range, the number of times. So we need to pick that by identifying the values that are within that class. So between 20 and 29, remember inclusive, we need to check for those values that are in 20 and 29 inclusive. We have 24, that is 1. We have 25, that is 2. We have 25, that is 3. We have 28, that is 4. We have 28, that is 5. So I will draw my sticks, 5 of them, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the fifth will cross to make a bundle. Then I count those sticks to make 5. And always the starting frequency here will be taken to be the starting cumulative frequency. And now to get, remember you should maintain this concept of counting those values within the range. If I can take an example, let's look at which one. Do you want 70? This class range, 70 to 79. I have, let me change the color, 70 to 79. I have, there is a 71 here. I have a 70 here. I think that is it. So I have this one and this one. So those are two values that are in 70 and 79. So I have the two sticks giving me a 2. Let's check for another class. Sorry to skip other things. You will do this at your free time. Take a screenshot and go through it. But all are correct. So you maintain the thing throughout. So that's why I have 7, 12. I have 7, I have 12, 7, and 7 for the respective class ranges. Now, how do we get the class cumulative frequency? If you have the frequency, how do we get? And that's what we need to see. How do we get the next values of the cumulative frequency after using the first frequency as the first cumulative frequency? So the trick is very simple. Cumulative means increasing, accumulating. So we shall keep increasing. By 7 plus 5, it gives me 12. Keep increasing. Plus 12, I get 24. 7 plus that 24, I get 31. 7 plus 31, I get 38. 2 plus 38, I get 40. Now, the total number of frequency here, If you add, you should get the summation of frequency, and that will be 40. This value should be equal to the last value of the cumulative frequency. So it should be equal. So that is how we shall get the next values of the cumulative frequency from the frequencies that we have. Take note of that. And just in case you have the cumulative frequency, to go back to the frequency, always the first cumulative frequency is the first cumulative frequency is always the first frequency. So what we shall do is we shall keep subtracting. How do you do that? Let me show you here. Keep subtracting. Now you get this, this 12 minus 5 to get this 7. Are we together? Or else, let me give you a simple way of doing that. Because that will not give us a correct approach. We can do it this way. The first cumulative frequency will give the first frequency. Now how can I get these other values when I have already these ones? How do I get them? So I get 9 minus 5 to get 7. 24 minus 12 to get 12. Are you seeing that? 31 minus 24, I get a 7. 38 minus 31, of course I will get a 7. And then 40 minus 38, I get a 2. So that's how we can do the reverse, just in case you have a task to do concerning finding frequency from the cumulative frequency. Okay, let's first clean this. We continue with our explanation of this cumulative frequency table. Now, how do we get the middle class or middle score? The middle score is very simple. Take the total of these class scores. Keep adding them for each class score. After adding, you divide by 2. The result you get will act as the mid score for each class. So if you get 20 plus 29, divide the result by 2, you get 24.5. You maintain the thing throughout. That's why you shall get 24.5, 34.5. Now the simplest way of doing this is that if the class interval is the same, like for this we had 10, after getting the first value of the middle score, just keep adding that class interval plus that 10 to get the next value, plus 10 to get these other values, plus 10, you get that, plus 10, plus 10. If the class interval is the same, such that you minimize on the time that you are to spend on pressing the caret and all that. So you just keep adding 10, 10, 10, 10. Or keep adding the class interval, not actually cramming it as 10. Now the product here, you have to multiply, of course. Get your calc and press the calc and get the product between, the product of these values here and these ones here. Now if you get 5 times 24.5, you get 122.5. You maintain the same thing. If you get 2 times 74.5, automatically you will get 149. So you do the same with all the classes, and without forgetting, you sum up this, because we are going to calculate the average or the mean. You sum up all this to get you these values. That is 1880 as the total or the summation of the product of frequency and the mid class. So in simple terms, that is our frequency distribution table that we shall use to answer a variety of tasks or to respond to a variety of tasks, and the expected tasks that you should have, though some of them are not within this very item. You should expect to give a response to the mean or the average. You should expect to give a response to the median. I think it's not on this item, but I will bring it in another item. How do you calculate median if you have such a frequency distribution table? You should also expect to calculate the model score or model mark, and I will bring the formula in the next presentations. If you have such a frequency distribution table, I think we shall use this very one. So you just keep posted, check on the subscription button, subscribe, like, comment. I guarantee you will always get the updates from this. Whoever is offering the competency-based curriculum, most especially O-level, please make sure you access this work. I'm pretty sure it will add something to your understanding. It will increase your level of interpretation of this so-called mathematics. Yes. Another thing is that we can use this frequency table also to guide us while plotting or presenting the information on a frequency, in a statistical diagram, and that is a histogram particularly, and also a cumulative frequency graph or an OGIF. And a histogram is just a statistical diagram that we plot where we plot frequency against class boundaries. And for a cumulative frequency curve, we plot cumulative frequency against class scores. Now let's move to the calculation of the median. For this particular scenario, they wanted us to calculate the median. So how do we calculate the median? So that is how we shall calculate the median, using that simple formula. The formula is here. This is our formula for finding the median. Summation of fx over summation of f. And we shall have 1880 divided by 40, the number of students. And this will be 44. Now if you compare this 44, this value is actually less, the value is actually, the value is less than, the value is, the 47 is less than 48.5. Oh my god. Now since it is less than 48.5, which is the previous, so we shall make a conclusion. Therefore the head teacher will do both, and that is adding another teacher that teaches math and buy more math books. And since the reason is attached there, the reason is that the average performance of this year, which is 47 score, is below the average performance for last year, which is 48.5. All right, let's move to the next slide, but before that, let's leave our work clean for further use. Please, I repeat, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave your addition, subtraction, comment on the comment section. The target is to reach 1 million subscribers, and we can do this. Let's make this a reality. It is very, very possible. Very possible. Let's move to the next. Data display For me, I decided to present my work on a histogram. So a histogram showing the student scores obtained from the mathematics assessment. Don't forget to plot frequency against class boundary. Don't forget to put the title. Don't forget to use a suitable scale for the frequency, because my values of frequency were 2, 5, 7, 7. 7 is appearing 3 times, and also 12. So the highest value is actually 12, and the smallest value is 2. So the suitable scale I can use here is 2 centimeter. I mean 2 for each 2 boxes. Anyway, but now if you get a graph paper, please do the needful plot and also send it to my the comment section. I go through it. Now the starting class boundary is got from the starting lower class boundary, which is 19.5. Then you keep all the other values of the upper class boundary. The bars, you start drawing them from 19 or between 19.5 and 29.5. The value is 5. Then 29.5, 39.5, the value is 7, that is 7. 39.5, 49.5, the value is 12. The value is 12. 49.5 to 59.5, the value is 7. We maintain that 7. Another 7 is for 79.5. Sorry, 59.5 and 69.5. Then 69.5, lastly, to 79.5, the value is 2. So the values I have on frequency that you saw the frequency column are 2, 7, 7, 12, 7, and 5. Or starting from the top, 5, 7, 12, 7, 7, 2. In simple terms, that is my histogram. And I will use this histogram to majorly determine the mode. And this is the principle. I just draw a line coming from one corner of the tallest bar to touch the adjacent bar, or to touch the tip of the adjacent bar. Then on the opposite corner, I draw also a line from the corner of the tallest bar to touch the adjacent bar, or the tip of the bar adjacent on the opposite side. So the point of intersection of these two horizontal lines, you draw a vertical line to meet the axis of the class boundary, and the value here is the one I will use. If you're using a graph paper, you'll get a clear value here, and that will act as the mode score. So the expected questions or tasks are plotting a histogram, use it to estimate or determine the mode. So that is what we shall do for that. Another person can use a cumulative frequency curve, and please, I want you to plot that. Use the cumulative frequency values, plot them against what? The class scores. And for that case, you will just use a dot or a star to plot the coordinates. After that, after plotting those coordinates, you use a freehand to join those plotted coordinates right from the starting up to the last coordinates plotted. Use a freehand, not a ruler. The curve will be an ogive or cumulative frequency curve. Let's move to the next, which is the last part that requires us to represent the information on what? On a three-set theory, and use it to answer the parts. And majorly here we are identifying the book that the head teacher should replace. So the information is here. The books are Longhorn. The books are Longhorn, New Vision, and Baruch. So we have New Vision is here, Baruch, and Longhorn. Those are the three items or variables we shall use to mean the three-state theorem. Then let's continue from just this point. From the librarian's code, it's very clear that all the students that did not use any book failed the subject greatly. Out of 35 students, that's the total number of students in the class, or the number of universal total number. 13, number of Longhorn is 13, number of Baruch is 20, and number of New Vision 17. 8 used Longhorn and New Vision. Only here we shall not subtract the intersection of the 3 from 8, because the intersection of Longhorn and New Vision is 8 only. 3 used Longhorn and Baruch. Since the word in only is not here, we shall subtract the intersection of the 3, all the 3 from the 3 number of students that fall within the intersection of Longhorn and Baruch. While 9 used Baruch and still here only is not there, we shall subtract. The records show that only 2 students used all the 3 books. So the intersection of all the 3 is already here. We shall just keep subtracting. From 9 minus 2, then from 3 minus 2, then for 8 we shall not subtract because the word only is there. He also observed that he should replace one book type of the 3 with MK publisher on the condition that no student read it only. So that is our literature that we shall use to make a three-set theory. We have number of Longhorn 13, number of New Vision 17, number of Baruch 20. Our set is there. Now we don't know the number of students that didn't participate in any of the 3 books. And those are the students that failed, they did not read. And at some point we are requested to find the probability that a student failed. Then let's fill in the information. This is the number of students that read all the 3. The 8 is the number of students that read Longhorn, and New Vision only. So this is the region for only. This region that you see me shading, the region for only. So that's why we write just an 8 here without subtracting. Now we go to the region for New Vision, Longhorn and Baruch. Longhorn and Baruch, and this is the region. This region, they are saying 3 used Longhorn and Baruch. But since the word only is not there, we shall subtract. Because what they are meaning is that the 3 is for the whole of this region here. 3 is for the whole of this region. Now to get for the region only, we shall get the total region, which is 3, minus this region, So what we shall remain with, it is only this region here, which will be 3 minus 2, and that will be 1. Then even on this side, let me just first remove this work. Let me first remove this side so that it does not confuse us. Okay. Then for the intersection of New Vision and Baruch, it is 9. 9 used Baruch and New Vision, but the word only is not there. Remember, the region for Baruch and New Vision, it is the whole of this one. But within this, again, we have those who are falling within all the 3. So if the total region is 9, how about this region alone? meaning I will get the 9 minus this 2. So 9 minus 2, I get a 7. So 7 will act as the number of students that read New Vision and Baruch only. So that's why the 7 is where the 7 is coming from. So that's where the 7 is coming from. Now the remaining part, since I do not know, let's first erase this. The remaining region, that is for Longhorn only. This is the region for Longhorn only, and I'm calling it to be A for Longhorn only, A for New Vision only. This region here, the way you are seeing it, this is for New Vision only. This is for Longhorn only, and this one here is for Baruch only. So this region is here, I do not know the values or the number of students. I will just use unknowns as A, B, and C. And then we need to start interpreting the set now. Let's interpret the set. So if you look at the total number of students in the class, it is 35. So that's why we are going to write number of universal 35. Now let's break down each set. Let's look at the total number of those under the book Longhorn, and that will be this A plus 8 plus 2 plus this 1 and everything equated to 13. And we solve for A, and that is how it is coming. The total is 30, so I keep adding everything I solve, I get 2 students. So there are 2 students that actually participated in reading Longhorn only. So here is a 2. Then, just a moment. Okay, to remove this. We break down the other set also. That is New Vision. Let's break down New Vision. This is the whole set of New Vision, the way you are seeing it. And anything within the New Vision, I will add. That is A plus 8 plus 2 plus a 7. Everything I equate to 17. So that's why I'm having all this, and I solve, I get 0 student. We are discovering something. There is that region where no students read that book only. So the 0 students read New Vision only. Remember, this is a region for only. This region here, it is for only, and for that case we have 0 student. So at some point you are realizing that it is New Vision book that will be replaced with the MK. Anyway, let's continue. Break down the other set also. Let's break down the other set. Hope my voice is clear. I try to increase your volume while listening to the literature, because my microphone is quite low. I'm sorry for that. Let's break down the remaining part of the set, and that is this region. This region here is for Baruch, and that will be a total of A, a total of 7, a total of 2, and 1. Everything equated to 20. Then we solve for C. This is what I have. I solve everything. I will have 10 students. The 10 students who read Baruch only, this region here for only Baruch. Are we together? Let's now break down the total set. Break down the total set. The total set, or the universal, is the whole of this. It is the whole of this set here. The whole of it. Now what we shall add is an x A 7, B 8, 2, 1. Shall take this one, A. We add only those ones. We don't add 13, 17, and 20. No, we add the ones that are within the set and those who liked or who read none of the three. So after getting the total, we equate it to the universal, total universal, and that is 35. And this is the breakdown of it. I simplified everything there, x plus 2 plus, okay, x plus a plus b plus c plus 8 plus 7 plus 2 plus everything to 35. And then substituting, I get everything. Then there are 5 students who did not read any of the books and they expected a miracle. They expected to pass. What are you? That will not be there. So you reap what you sow. 5 students failed, and the cause of the failing is not reading any book in the library. Take note of that one. Now, we can get to realize that we have the answers already here. Now, what we shall do is, instead of having the A, B, C, X, and all that, let me just draft another set with the substitution of the A, B, C, and X. And we interpret it very well. So this is my set now. Everything coming out very well, you can see now. So the set I have is that if I add these values here, it gives me 13. If I add these values here, they give me 17. If I add the total number of those in Baruch, they also give me 20. You can prove at your free time, and my 5 is there. Now if I add this, I add all these values within this set here, they will give me 35. So that is a clear analysis that shows you that we are on track. Okay, so now from this set I can now answer the remaining parts. Roman 1, the head teacher should replace with the book New Vision, because it is the book that had no student reading it. Only 0 student read New Vision only. Then Roman 2, for the probability of students that failed is equal to number of students that failed, which is 5. Those who expected a miracle, number of students that failed, 5, over the total number of students in that class, and we get 1/7. Now under fraction, decimals, and percentages, we get to realize that there's a relationship between amongst the 3, and that's why we can write this fraction as a decimal. So the probability that a student selected at random from the class failed is 1/7, or 0.143, or 14.3%. So we can see that we have actually come to the end of the responses of our particular item. I hope you've picked something, and if you fail to pick something at any point, kindly drop that very thing on the comment section. I promise you I will give a response. I will give that response. And just in case you want us to discuss about something else within this very topic or chapter, please raise your concern. Raise your concern, I will do the needful. Well guys, thank you. Now I will also leave you with an activity or activity try assignments. You will try for me these items. You try for me these items. Item number 1 is there. You try. after subscribing, liking and sharing, we will meet in the next episode.
Everyone is lonely sometimes, but I would walk 1,000 miles to see your eyes. You are not alone with your family.
The responses or solutions to this. Don't forget to do UNEP 2024. Check for that item. In the next episode, I will give you that very item with the responses. Right? And get to the end of the discussion. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for watching. Listen. Any information you want to talk to me via my email, the contacts are there. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Thank you so much. May God bless you.